What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. I am Philip, and this week we are counting down my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022. Now, there are, of course, a lot of movies catching up over the past 2 years with everything that's been going on. A lot of movies that might be delayed. We just got news that Mission Impossible 7 and Mission Impossible 8 are being delayed. What's going to be the status of Top Gun Maverick?
But not today.
We don't know. Will we get to see it this year? Hopefully, but
not today.
We'll see how everything pans out. But I still wanted to kind of take a look ahead at the year and see what we have coming down the pipeline, see what I'm excited about, see what you guys are excited about. But definitely, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and especially on videos like this, comment below. Let me know what you're most excited to see this year, what your most anticipated movie of the year is, and we'll have some fun discussion there. But let's go ahead and jump into the top 10. My number 10 most anticipated movie of the year is a movie called The Killer. It is directed by David Fincher. It stars Michael Fassbender, and that's really all we know about it at this point. And I'm putting it at number 10 because we don't know a whole lot about it at this point, and because it doesn't have an exact release date, but it is expected to come out this year. That said, you know, it's a new David Fincher movie. His last film was for Netflix. It was Mank. I certainly enjoyed it, but it wasn't exactly what you expect. It's not kind of what David Fincher is known for. This is definitely seems to be more in that vein. We've been missing Michael Fassbender for a couple of years now. Been wondering what that guy is up to. But the pairing of Fassbender and Fincher is definitely something that piques my interest. So while I'm very excited for this, if I knew more about it, if I had a definite release date, it would certainly be higher on my list. But with all those stipulations right now, let's go ahead and just put it at number 10. I'm saying The Killer from David Fincher. Okay, jumping into number 9. Something of a joke, but I think the movie is something of a joke itself and wants to be perceived that way. This comes out in April. It is called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It stars Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal, Tiffany Haddish, Neil Patrick Harris, and it is actually Nick Cage playing Nicolas Cage. If you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. You can see a little bit of it here. It is directed by a guy named Tom Gormican. I think he's acted in a few things, maybe produced a few things, but I think this is his first directing gig. How he got this as his first directing gig, I have no idea. But we all know Nicolas Cage is kind of this character. This guy is a whole personality, a whole entity being unto himself that is just like kind of unimaginable or hard to comprehend. And so this kind of role seems right up his alley while also being something that is fully taking advantage of that personality. And this could fall hard on its face, but I'm so excited to see this. I couldn't help but put it on the list. So at number 9 is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, appropriately titled, starring Mr. Nicolas Cage. Check it out when it comes to theaters. Let's go ahead and jump into number 8. Maybe one of the most hit or miss directors we have working these days. We're talking about Baz Luhrmann. I think maybe the last movie he put out was 2013's The Great Gatsby. But I'm most excited for this because this is a musical biopic. It is an Elvis Presley musical biopic. And it kind of feels like it will hopefully be kind of the definitive take on Elvis Presley, maybe moving forward. But anytime someone decides to make a music movie, I'm always interested. I kind of love that genre, even though its tropes have been, become really worn at this point. Like Respect might have been the greatest example of this last year. I still enjoyed it, though. I thought Jennifer Hudson gave a great performance as Aretha Franklin. And in this movie, we have Austin Butler, who we've seen in a couple things. Most notably, he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But he is playing Elvis. You have Tom Hanks playing Colonel Tom Parker. And then you have, I think, Maggie Gyllenhaal is also in this. Kelvin Harrison Jr., I think, is playing B.B. King in this. There's a couple other people in this, but this is a Baz Luhrmann picture. I expect it to be, pretty to at least do some interesting things with the mythology around Elvis. I don't know if it's a cradle to grave type story. What we're going to be doing with Tom Hanks playing Colonel Parker, I'm sure a lot of that dynamic will be at the heart of the story. But we'll see, and I'm excited to see what Luhrmann does with it. If even if his movies don't always land, they're certainly never boring. And so I'm very eager to see how this turns out. Okay, at number 7, I'm going to go ahead and put Robert Eggers' The Northman. He is the guy who brought us The Witch and The Lighthouse. I haven't been the biggest fan of those movies, but The Northman looks to be clearly his biggest movie to date. And a crazy cast, too. This thing stars Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Bjork, Willem Dafoe, Bill Skarsgård. Crazy cast, looks like kind of one of those classic revenge stories as well. And if you've seen the trailer, you know that it looks gorgeous. And because I haven't been as high on either The Witch or The Lighthouse as, some critics have, Robert Eggers has kind of come up with Ari Aster as this kind of, A24 elevated horror guys that we know them as. And I've enjoyed Aster's 2 features more, Hereditary and Midsummer, and he has a movie called Disappointment Boulevard coming out this year. And so I almost put that here, but the trailer for The Northman really blew me away. It's really cool to see Alexander Skarsgård kind of get this kind of leading role in this type of movie. I feel like the last time we saw him in a leading role was in Tarzan.
A ghost in the trees.
If you remember that one, probably not. But anyway, this looks just like something I can't wait to see on the big screen. It comes out pretty soon. It comes out in April of this year. And so, I can't wait to see what Robert Eggers does with a bigger scale, bigger budget, and kind of one of those classical stories, and just to kind of see what his take on that is. But number 7, The Northman. Let's go ahead and jump into number 6. And at number 6, I have Don't Worry, Darling. This is the follow-up to one of my favorite movies of the last few years, Booksmart.
Shakespeare in the Park. King Lot.
It's Olivia Wilde's directorial follow-up to that film. And it, again, like The Northman, has a pretty insane cast. We are talking about Florence Pugh in the lead here, Harry Styles, Gemma Chan, Chris Pine, and a whole host of others. The story itself is kind of a psychological thriller. I again, don't know a whole lot about the story here. From the kind of production stills or set photos we've seen, it kind of looks very much like a Stepfordy Wives type tale. I don't know how much in that realm it actually is, but the colors are really popping. The set design and wardrobe seems to be key in this, and there's just a lot of factors here that really interest me, and so I'm curious to see what is going on with this, what Olivia Wilde chose as her follow-up, and why she chose it, and just, curious to see how this turns out, because I really did adore Booksmart when it came out a couple years ago. So Don't Worry, Darling at number 6. All right, at number 5, midway point of the list already. This one, much like my number 10, we don't know a whole lot about the story, but I'm putting this on there putting this one higher because it does have a confirmed release date this summer. It is Jordan Peele's follow-up to Us, his third feature film. It's called Nope. It, again, like Get Out, stars Daniel Kaluuya. It also stars Stephen Yeun and Keke Palmer. But we have no idea what this is about. I expect it to kind of be in the same vein of Get Out and Us, kind of a horror, social commentary type film, a film with a lot of layers, a lot going on, a lot on its mind. Jordan Peele is just one of those directors, no matter what he's doing, you're going to pay attention to it, and you're going to highly anticipate it. It's just as simple as that. The cast is great. I want to note this one is going to be, or has been shot by Hoyt van Hoytema, really notable cinematographer. And so excited not only to see what story we're getting here from Jordan Peele, what's on his mind, but also to see visually how this looks. And because just from Get Out to Us, the visual approach was, leaps and bounds forward. And so here I hope we get that same progression. But at number 5, nope, we'll see what happens this summer with it. Okay, at number 4, there is a lot of movies talking about multiverses this year, especially after Spider-Man No Way Home recently. But while I am definitely excited for Multiverse of Madness, for Spider-Verse Part 1, for The Flash, and all the the things that those are going to contain, those are all movies coming out this year that I'm definitely excited to see. But there is one that is an original kind of idea dealing with multiverses, and it is called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It is directed by a team of directors called the Daniels. The last thing they did was Swiss Army Man with Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, which is a crazy interesting, original movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But this one stars Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis. And again, seeing the trailer play out, I was just like, I need to see this as soon as possible. The film itself is about an aging Chinese immigrant who is swept up in this insane adventure where she can alone save the world by exploring other universes, connecting with the lives she could have lived. So, yeah, multiverses are in right now. What can we say? And we're getting an A24 version of a multiverse movie. So yeah, how can I not be excited for that? How can I not be anticipating that? And we should be able to see it relatively soon. I think it comes out kind of that spring break sweet spot at the end of March. I believe March 25th is the date. So number 4, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Definitely look for it. If you haven't heard of it already, definitely check out the trailer for it. And let's go ahead and jump into my top 3. Okay, number 3. It's the latest from Damien Chazelle. We're talking Babylon. This is a crazy, just the cast. The cast is insane in this. It's his follow-up to First Man. We haven't had a Damien Chazelle movie in a couple of years. He's most notable, of course, for Whiplash.
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
And La La Land. But this one, Babylon, is a period piece. It is about kind of the transition in Hollywood from silent film into the talkies. And Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie are at the forefront of this. Again, this is one that has a late in the year release. It's obviously a movie that will kind of be making a bid for Oscars next year. It's called Babylon. And, again, we don't know much about it. It doesn't have a concrete release date. It may be a Christmas Day release. That could obviously change at this point. But I think most of it is shot already, so I'd be surprised if it shifts out of 2022 completely. But yeah, Chazelle is just one of those young, up-and-coming directors that, again, like Jordan Peele, you just kind of gravitate towards what he's doing. You're immediately going to be interested in it. All right, let's get into number 2. We're going from one of our most, promising young, up-and-coming directors to one of our most seasoned, well-respected directors. It is Martin Scorsese, who has, yes, a new movie coming out in 2022. It is produced by Apple TV Plus, but hopefully we'll get to see it in theaters, regardless of if we do or not. You got to be excited for new Scorsese. This one especially. It is called Killers of the Flower Moon. It is adapted from a novel by American journalist David Grann. And it's about essentially the birth of the FBI. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Brendan Fraser, John Lithgow, and Lily Gladstone, and is about a string of brutal crimes that came to be known as the Reign of Terror in 1920s Oklahoma. A lot of stuff going on here. Period piece. De Niro and DiCaprio together in a Scorsese picture. The budget for this thing is apparently astronomical, so Scorsese's going all in on this thing. The novel is really well renowned. So I just, there's a whole lot of things going into this, a whole lot of factors, a whole lot of facets that are just brimming with promise. But at the end of the day, it's a new Scorsese movie. No matter what he's deciding to tackle, you're kind of like, I have to check it out. I have to see what he's up to. And, who knows how many more of these we will get. I mean, Martin Scorsese getting up there. Don't know how much longer he's going to feel like pumping out $300 million FBI movies. But that's what we're getting this year, and I can't wait to see it. It's called Killers of the Flower Moon. Definitely check it out. Okay, and at number 1, I have kind of saved my superhero movie for the number 1 spot because I am so excited for it. And I know there are a lot of other, superhero properties coming out this year. You have Wakanda Forever, which is scheduled for this year. May or may not happen. We'll see. There's been a lot of problems with the production of that movie, a lot of stop and go. So we will see if that actually pans out. But you also have, Thor: Love and Thunder. You have Black Adam. You have Pixar releasing not only Turning Red, which is now going to Disney Plus, but they have Lightyear, which is Chris Evans' Buzz Lightyear, and kind of like the original thing that Andy saw in order to make him interested and adore Buzz Lightyear. So we'll see how that goes. Did I mention Avatar 2? Avatar 2 is supposed to come out this year, actually come out. We'll see if that happens. Then you have Jurassic World Dominion, the supposed close of that trilogy. Bullet Train, Brad Pitt, and another movie from David Leitch. And then Halloween Ends as well, which is the end of David Gordon Green's trilogy of Halloween films. I'm also excited, in the horror realm for Scott Derrickson's Black Phone with Ethan Hawke that comes out this summer. So a lot of movies to look forward to, but I saved kind of the big popcorn, one for me movie at number 1 to be the Batman. I mean, it comes out really soon, actually. Probably, I think it's the beginning of March. So not too much longer to wait. It was just reported it's nearly 3 hours in length. It's directed by Matt Reeves, who gave us the Planet of the Apes trilogy most recently, and those films were really well regarded. And, Robert Pattinson in the lead role, Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman, Selena Kyle, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell is the Penguin. I'm almost glad to hear it's 3 hours. Not that I'd mind sitting through a 3-hour Batman movie, no matter where it was coming from. But because of all these characters and all of it seems to want to do, it almost feels like this is such a standalone movie that they threw everything that they could in here. But it looks amazing. I can't wait to see it. All the trailers have been nothing but promising. Michael Giacchino, the composer, released a snippet of his score for it last week. And it sounds amazing. I just can't wait to see this on the biggest screen possible. Huge Batman fan, always have been, always will be. And so any iteration is going to pique my interest, but everything for this has just looked phenomenal. So number one for 2022, can't wait to see the Batman. I'll also be interested to see how many of these end up on my end of the year list this year. You can check out my end of the year list for 2021 a couple videos back. And it'll also be recommended at the end of this video. But thank you guys for watching. Like I said at the top, definitely let me know what you're looking forward to most this year. And hopefully some of these that I included on my top 10 are highlighting ones you haven't heard of yet, or things you might not have known were even happening. But definitely let me know, create the conversation below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Other than that, again, please subscribe to Tavern Talk. Thank you to the Movie Tavern for always letting us do this. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.